road. Hi, I'm Max Milano from GuiriGuru.com, and welcome to the Roman Road, where we explore every Roman ruin in Spain, so you don't have to. And today we're quite literally on the Roman Road, so we're right above a Roman road right here. And it's not just the road, and not just the Roman road. The Romans were great engineers, so we also can see the Roman sewage that goes right underneath. These roads were an amazing feat of engineering. They were able to put sewage right under the road as well. And we're in the town of Sagunto, and the reason we're here is because we wanted to start a Roman road series here for GuiriGuru, because Saguntum back in the day, Sagunto nowadays, is crucial in the history of the Roman Republic against Carthage, and it's crucial in how Rome became the dominant power in the Mediterranean. And there's two very famous Roman phrases that pretty much bookmark the beginning of Rome involving themselves against Carthage, and then the second Roman phrase, the other bookend, is basically the culmination of Rome dominating Carthage in the Mediterranean. And the famous phrase that gets everything started in Iberia for the Romans is "Dum Roma deliberat, Saguntum perit." As Rome deliberates, Saguntum perishes. And that is very powerful because of what happened here, and we'll tell that story in a second. And then the other bookmark is that famous "Carthago delenga est," which after the fall of Saguntum, Cato the Elder ended up all his speeches with this famous phrase, "Carthago delenga est," meaning Carthago must be destroyed. And it was this city, the destruction of this city, that got the Romans fired up into coming into Hispania and showing the Carthaginians who was boss. So welcome to the Roman Road. Let's keep exploring Sagunto in Spain. So here, this beautiful Roman road in Sagunto is actually more from the 1st century, when Augustus eventually was already the ruler of the Roman Empire and the master of Spain. Carthage has already fallen long time before that, because the original Iberian town that started the whole war with Rome and Carthage was actually up on the top of the hill where the castle is now. Makes sense to settle there because on top of that hill you can defend the whole area, and you have views all the way down to the ocean. We're right by the coast, but so the Iberians, they were up in the castle. And this part of Iberia, after the First Punic War, Rome decided to split their influence, areas of influence in Iberia, by the Ebro River. Now the Ebro River is south of Barcelona. It's pretty much the border of Catalonia and the rest of Spain. So along the coast, if you go along the coast. So the Romans have said, okay, our area of influence is north of the Ebro, so basically the border of Catalonia onwards towards Gaul, and then eventually Italy. And then Carthage was allowed to have influence from the Ebro down here and all the way down to New Carthage, Cartagena. So this city, being near the border of the Roman side and them being Hellenized for centuries, they were Iberian, but they were Hellenized. They decided to ally themselves with Rome, right? So Carthage then has this big important city on a hill that is in their area, their territory, but it's an ally of Rome. So Hannibal, he's the son of the first Hannibal that was involved in the First Punic War. So he's Hannibal II. He is in charge of the siege of Sagunto. Now this city is very well protected. Even to this day, to get up that castle is an effort in the heat, 40-degree heat going up to get to the castle. So you can imagine the city was surrounded by Carthaginian soldiers, and don't forget, Carthage worked with. They didn't have their own army. They paid people to go fight for them. They were mercenaries, and they would hire mercenaries from everywhere, not just from northern Africa area. They even had Gauls, and they had even like people from like Scandinavia, and so they had this hodgepodge of wild soldiers that were just paid to fight for Carthage, and that was worked in some aspects, didn't in others. You know, the famous book Salome by Flaubert describes how the soldiers rebelled after the First Punic War, how they rebelled in Carthage because they weren't getting paid. So that's the whole book, Salome, a great book about that era. So this is soon after that. They're here, they're surrounding the city. It's been an 8-month siege. So Hannibal, getting tired of the siege, he asks for a meeting with the leadership of the town. And he says to them, if you guys leave all their possessions here, just take your clothes and very little possessions, we'll spare your lives, which is the most important thing. And you can all leave and go wherever, go to the Roman side of the Ebro, and we'll just take over the city, and there doesn't have to be any bloodshed, okay? So in the middle of negotiations with the townspeople, the leadership of Sagunto, his soldiers finally break through the walls and start pouring in, and Hannibal, being a crafty soldier strategist, realizes he can't control these guys. These guys are from all over the place. You got Gauls, you got Vikings, they just want to get paid, and the way a lot of the times how they get paid is pillage, right? That's how they got paid. So he realized he can't control these guys. So in the middle of the meeting, when he sees, one moment he's telling the people, "We'll respect your lives, just walk away." The minute he sees that his guys broke through, he gives the order, "Kill everyone." He turns into like Gary Oldman and Leon the Professional. Kill everyone. And sadly, Carthago was razed to the ground. Everybody was killed. Sagunto was destroyed. Nothing left. And it was such a horrific destruction. And not only that, after this happens, Hannibal feels strong enough to then cross the Alps with elephants and come into the Italian peninsula through the Alps, where the Romans wouldn't be expecting him. They were probably expecting him maybe to take a boat, like from here over to Spain, from here to Italy. But no, he's encouraged by his absolute victory here in Sagunto, and he crosses the Alps with elephants, and he's basically doing guerrilla warfare in the Italian peninsula, up and down the Italian peninsula for many years. Really giving the Romans a hard time. So the Romans name Scipio, eventually known as Scipio Africanus, to take care of business here. The fall of Saguntum really galvanized the Senate against Carthage. But Rome didn't come straight here, even though the town was already destroyed. There's not much they can do at that point. So their first beachhead in Iberia was up in Tarragona, which is Tarago at the time. And check out a Tarragona video. We've done one of all the Roman ruins, spectacular Roman ruins there, even to this day. So that's their first beachhead, and then they start fighting in different towns. Actually, a few towns in this area where they have big fights, and then eventually the big fight, New Carthage, current day Cartagena, where Scipius destroys the Carthaginians there. He does something similar. He comes from the back of the city versus the front. The Carthage, New Carthage, Cartagena, has a harbor that's very defensible even to this day. That's why the Spanish Navy's there. So the Romans came around the back and were able to, that way, penetrate the walls and destroy the city. We've done a video there. Check it out. So, and then eventually that leads to the Third Punic War, which Carthage is eventually completely destroyed, and Rome becomes the master of the Mediterranean for years to come. But it all started here in Sagunto, where got the Senate fired up because it was such a terrible loss that the Romans said, "That's it, we're going in, and we're going in hard." And eventually, because the city, the people died because they were pro-Rome, the city symbolically became very important. to the point where by the 1st century, time of Augustus, they built the Via. Augustus built a Roman road here, very important Roman road, La Via Augusta, that connected basically Rome all the way to New Carthage, passing right by here. And this city was rebuilt, and rebuilt even more beautiful and even more spectacular than it was before during Iberian times. So starting off in the top of the castle, there's a forum right on the top there. There's a beautiful theater at the foothills, and then the town grew and grew. So basically, the Roman town, even though they always preferred to live up in the hills because it's more protectable, the trade and the town grew so much that basically expanded all the way here to where we are now, where you see this collection of streets and homes and warehouses, and so it's quite a large town even for modern standards. So the modern town of Sagunto is about the size of what it would have been at the peak of Roman time in the 1st century. A block away from here, you see the ruins of the circus, which was the horses would run. So it's quite a symbolic big town, and we're only about 25-30 minutes north of Valencia, and I bet you there's not a lot of people that know about the amazing history that is here in Sagunto, and the amazing Roman ruins that are still here. So one of the amazing things about Spain today is that the Roman life, the Roman ruins are under the city. So see this beautiful Roman road here. We're actually under an apartment house. So above my head is a whole complex of apartments and offices, and this would have been like the garage. So Spain has done an amazing job in the last few years to, every time they build something or they knock down an old building, they send a team of archaeologists to check, because they know that underneath, a town like this, Sagunto, they know that under every building here, there's going to be Roman ruins. This is a huge Roman town. So what usually happens is, this is an old structure, whatever it was, gets knocked down, they send the archaeologists, and then they found this beautiful Roman road here, and you can see on this side here, there was a complex town. See all the rest of the Roman walls, all that, and then that black area above it, that's basically people's houses up there. So people are living their lives on top of the Romans. So you got that Roman layer, and underneath the Roman layer, you have Iberian layers and Hellenized. So when you come to places like this in Spain, and this is not just here, all over the place. You see it in Valencia, you see it in Barcelona, how the Roman cities still exist underneath. Most churches in Spain, the first layer is Roman, then Visigothic, etc., etc. So, for example, here in Sagunto, you got this Roman layer. Before that, you have Iberian layers, Hellenized Iberians. Then after the Romans, you have the Visigoths. There's a Visigothic layer. Then the Moors, and then the Christians that came back. And then, it's such a hodgepodge of layers. But you really have to give it to Spain for protecting these sites for future generations, future historians to come and see this, how the Romans lived. Just the engineering alone is worth it, let alone the history. Let's keep exploring Sagunto on the Roman road. We're in Sagunto's 2,000-year-old Roman theater. You can see the original Roman structure behind me, and there's some columns right here, some columns right there as well. Unfortunately, there has been some overzealous restructuring, and they put some modern stuff here, but we are in the site of the old Roman theater right now, and it is nice that you can actually do plays now. But here we are, the heart of the Roman theater in Sagunto. standing among bits of old Roman columns all over the floor here, and the archaeological importance of this site was discovered by a physician that worked here in the fort. We're right in the top of the fort, Sagunto Castle. We're right on the top of the hill, and in the 1700s, a physician working here with the troops realized that the hill was strewn with Roman ruins and Roman artifacts, like all these columns. So he asked the fort commander for permission to build the first archaeological museum up here, and the locals called it the House of the Rocks because they couldn't understand why this physician was collecting all these rocks. Turned out they're 2,000-year-old Roman columns, and it's housed in this. The first museum was housed in this beautiful little temple-esque museum right behind us in the 1700s. And we're on the top of the castle now. Look at that, and offers absolutely spectacular views of the town and 2,000 years of history. Welcome to Sagunto Castle. And the physician was right to build his museum, or he did, because these aren't just any old rocks. We're standing above the ancient ruins of the old Roman Forum, which was right on top of the hill back in Roman times. And the Forum was where everything happened during Roman era. All of the temples, and it was kind of like the central plaza where everything happened. And the castle, the medieval castle is built around it. So the old museum right there, within earshot, within just a few steps from the Roman Forum here in Sagunto Castle. Welcome to Sagunto's Jewish Quarter. We've just crossed the portal into the medieval Jewish quarter and the town of Sagunto. And this is the fascinating thing about Spain, because here I'm standing in the heart of the ancient Jewish quarter. Behind me, you can see the medieval walls of the old medieval castle based upon Roman ruins. And right over here, you'll find the walls of the old Roman theater. Spain is just pure history. It's still here. Let's check it out. Well, we made it to the beach because we're in the ancient port, Roman port of Saguntos, and there's not a lot of port anymore, but they say the ocean is full of shipwrecks. They do have a 15th century church back there and an old tower, so let's go check it out. So here we are at the port of Sagunto. We're right behind the 16th century fort built to defend the the town from pirates, and because the Barbary Coast was right on the other side of the Med, and if the pirates caught you, you're in trouble. And we'll say goodbye to you here. Hope you enjoyed exploring beautiful Sagunto, Spain. Go to GuiriGuru.com for more tips about to learn where to go in Spain, especially more off the beaten tracks towns like Sagunto, where there's loads of Roman stuff, loads of history. So let's keep in touch here at GuiriGuru.com. See ya!